Well, good morning everybody. Welcome to that Kentuckessee Angler Show. Today we're fishing the Cumberland River. We're going to be beating the bank, walking some rock, targeting a wide variety of species, but I got one in particular I'm looking for today. We're going to start out trying to catch that. We're going to be starting out with some finesse gear. One species I have in mind right now, a little harder to catch this time of year, this early in the year I'll say, is the white bass. However, I know this river pretty well. I know these fish well. I think we're gonna be able to pull out a couple decent ones today. Give it a couple months, everyone who owns a bucket's gonna be out here targeting them. Oh, there we go. Bass. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. Oh, and they put up a fight on this finesse gear, I'll tell you what. Oh wow, look at that spot. That is a beautiful spotted bass. You're pulling him in, you could really see those prominent spots on him. Wow. Just gorgeous, man. Look at that fish. This is a beautiful Kentucky spotted bass and a decent sized one. And these fish, if you can see the way I was bringing them in, it probably jumped, I don't know, 3-4 times. Come this time of year on this river, they fight so hard. Thankful for her. Absolutely beautiful. Sign of a great day out here on the river. Thanks for biting, buddy. All right. Well, thanks for biting, buddy. Damage report, damage report. Not too bad. We are working a 3-inch Kitech here, so very fragile, but I brought a lot of them. Yeah, that'll do. I brought this bait specifically for white bass, but just about anything willing to eat a bait fish is gonna eat it. All right, so we're gonna be jumping up on this point over here. It looks kind of sketchy standing wise, but if we get some good footing, it's gonna give me a little more distance. Try to catch a white. Now these rocks are very slick. Gotta get some decent footing out here. I'm thinking we're gonna be able to first or second cast one. Then again, sometimes you really have to feel this area out to find an active stretch of river. I'm thinking just due to past logs, past experience, this spot in particular is going to be hitting for what I'm looking for right now, which is that white bass. They absolutely go crazy for these little paddle tails. Oh, there we go. Oh, that didn't take too long. Not a big one. That's certainly a white bass. I can tell by the way it's fighting right now. Little fella. So this is on the smaller end of what we're going to be catching today. But if he's sitting here, there's a good chance we can get some bigger ones out here. It's like a little male. We're running a bait finesse setup right now. It's a ton of fun to catch these fish on. Catch anything on, really. 6-pound line to a Daiwa Gecko Jin, which is just a blast of fish. It's got a fairly high gear ratio. We're working an 8.5 right now, which is helpful in this river current. Right now there's not much of it. When it does get a little windy out, it's extremely useful. Rod wise, we have a Fenwick Lynx on right now. It's a 6.3 light powered rod with a fast action tip. It's stupid sensitive, man. I can feel just about everything down there. There we go. That's a decent white. At least that's what I think it is. It is kind of... Oh yeah, it's pulling, man. I mean, these fish fight hard. They try to run you down into the rocks too. There we go. That is a good size white for this time of year. And beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. This is what we're looking for today. A nice thick white bass. Come January, February, this is going to be on the smaller side. They get thick, packed full of eggs. We're going to get her back in and hopefully catch a few more good looking fish. I mean, you can tell by the way it fought me how aggressive these fish are, and they have a very particular way of fighting. If you haven't caught one before, if you can imagine a drum mixed with a bass, that's what it's like. They don't really jump, they take you down deep, try to bury you in the rocks. And this one took our Kitech, but got plenty more. Some white ones and some red ones. I find that soft plastic paddle tails, grubs, are the most effective at catching these fish. But when they do start running heavy, you can catch them on just about anything. A lot of guys prefer spoons, inline spinners, that sort of deal. I'd rather use something like this. A snag doesn't hurt nearly as much. And they respond really, really well to twitching and manipulating your bait. There we go. This one feels decent. It's a drum. Had me fooled. And a fat drum. Sheesh. Croaker. See if we can get our bait back. Get him back in. Well, since I caught that drum, I actually completely jumped spots multiple times. I went way downriver and way upriver, about a half mile in each direction, fishing it out. I couldn't buy a bite. Good fish. Oh, on the jig, completely caught me off guard. So they are still here, which is very refreshing for me. Putting up a good fight, probably a decent sized one. Yeah. That's a thick one. Probably our biggest fish of the day. Look how beautiful she is. Look at those yellow eyes. This fish is going to be really, really fat in a couple months. It's going to be an awesome, awesome fight. It was a good one out there. Now these fish are a member of the true bass family. They're a temperate bass. They're often confused with stripers or hybrids, but I can assure you this is a white bass right here. Beautiful, man. Get you back in. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I had a great time making this one as always. So the lure of the day was that Keitech Easy Shiner, weighing in at 2.13 grams. Throw a jig head in there, you're roughly 5.78-ish. In the ballpark of those numbers. I'm not gonna sit around and weigh a bunch of them. That was the number I got on the first drop, so that's what I'm sticking with today. So it's roughly right around that weight. These plastics do vary a little bit here and there. So this was in Sight Flash, and we were throwing the 3-incher. Now, if I'm strictly targeting bass, I like to go 4-inchers with these Keitech. However, if we're doing a multi-species thing, or in this instance, targeting white bass, 3-inch is the size for me right there. Now, I absolutely love the colors. This was the other one I brought with me today, the Fire Craw. I'm a big fan of this one too, as well as a lot of their other colors. We will be throwing a kind of bubblegum pink one very soon on the channel for a pink fishing lure challenge I got going on down the line. I'm also a big fan of their Table Rock Shad. I threw it on the channel earlier this year. Now, when it comes to this bait, pros, cons. Pros, there's plenty of them, man. It just has that wiggle. It really gets bit. It's got that squid sense, I'm pretty sure. Check. Make sure I'm not making that up. I don't know, I don't see it on here. I'm pretty sure they're like squid scented or something like that. Am I completely wrong about this? I don't really know. Anyhow, they have ultimate lifelike action, and they're made in Japan, but they really do have that action that just gets bit. I'm a big fan of them. Now, cons, durability, 100%. That's the issue. If you get hit, you know, once, twice, and you still got one of these, it's still intact, it's not completely torn up here, you're having a pretty good day, man. I would trade a lure for a fish any day when it's something like this. Not an issue with me, but yeah, I don't get too much life out of them, especially the way I rig them on a jig head. As soon as that thing starts slipping down, I start re-rigging it. We start getting little rips and whatnot up top, and a good way to mitigate that is by simply snipping off the, you know, the amount that you had rigged on there on that jig head. So just a very small amount, refixing it. You can do it a couple times with these. However, you're doing an EWG that starts slipping, I mean, that thing is really slipping. Anyhow, guys, I do like to throw it on the jig head, and we were working a 1/8 ounce pink sickle type hooked one. I want to say these are Arky, I'm not 100% sure. I recently kind of organized, consolidated all my tackle. So, you know, instead of having 5 different packs of these, I shoved them all in one, and this one doesn't have a label. So I want to say they are the Arky 1/8 ounce ball head jigs. Not 100% sure though, any ball head will work. I do prefer a sickle type when I am catching white bass. I find they are sharper, stronger, and keep that fish pin just a little bit longer when they're fighting extremely aggressively. Anyway, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I had a great time making this one. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and get some good fish on, my friends. I will catch you next time. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe, comment as you like. It helps the channel. Later.